So I'd love to share a little bit about a subject that's very, very close to my heart, which is why do we self-sabotage? Now, you may be one of those people, one of those few people for whom this is not an issue, but certainly for me, even with a lot of personal development work, there are still these times when I do this. The easiest kind of example that we could perhaps think of is a sports person going up to the free throw line in basketball and choking on that shot, even though they've made it hundreds, thousands of times before. But it also happens in relationships or at work when we're going to do a pitch or trying to communicate something. And rather than step into our fullness and flow and just do everything with that ease that we know we're capable of, something comes in. There are lots and lots of ways to deal with this. I think what I want to share today is this foundational piece, which is so important, which is that even though we experience it as self-sabotage, what's really happening is that a part of us is doing its best to keep us safe in some way. Is it doing it in the optimal way? Is it doing it in a way that leads us into the fullness of our potential self-actualization? No. But it is doing its best. And the reason it's so helpful to recognize this is because if we know that there's a part of us that is actually even misguidedly trying to do its best for us, then it can allow us to put to one side that judgment that can creep in so quickly, that inner critic. We can just leave that to one side because we're actually recognizing that this part of us is trying to do something good. Now, the actual keys to managing this moment where we get taken over by, hijacked by our conditioned defensive aspects of ourselves that are trying to keep it safe. The actual key is the awareness that allows us to know that it's happening while it's happening. And this doesn't come overnight. But if we develop that awareness, we have the possibility to notice that it's actually happening and to perhaps not go down that well-worn path into that sabotaging behavior or that sabotaging thinking. And over time, as we build that habit even stronger, we can actually, in that little gap which that awareness has created, we can actually choose something very, very different. But that foundational piece is, in my view anyway, the most important piece. If we can build some kind of sense of understanding and warmth to these parts that are really only trying to keep us safe, then we take away that judgment, we take away that power that comes with the self-criticism that really essentially just keeps us stuck in the same place. So that's my take on the foundational piece of self-sabotage, the most important piece to put in place. Obviously, there's lots more because as we understand and get to know these places better, we can develop strategies to really work around, sidestep, and ultimately harness the power that these so-called saboteurs actually have and will make available for us.